Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much for being a few minutes early. I know we were scheduled to start this at 3, is when to come out just a few minutes early. And thank you for coming in from out of the rain. I understand it's raining pretty hard out there in Washington, but thanks for coming over. This afternoon, the United States Senate passed my budget proposal. That bill now returns to the House of Representatives for final approval before it could come back to my desk. This is a key moment, and I want to speak directly to you about where things stand and where I stand. Let me say this plainly. This bill, as written in its current form, does not reflect the values, priorities, or physical discipline laid out in my administration's budget. The budget that was passed this afternoon by the Senate is nowhere near the budget that was sent to Congress in February. My budget was built around one goal: making life better and more affordable for everyday Americans. Not by growing government, but by growing opportunity, security, and results. The budget we submitted focused on what matters most: lowering taxes for working families, investing in roads, bridges, broadband, and clean energy, supporting small businesses, job training, American manufacturing, cutting waste, reducing the deficit, and restoring trust in government. Every proposal in my budget was paid for responsibly and with the future in mind, because progress without discipline isn't progress, it's just politics. The bill that passed the Senate, while full of ambition, is out of step with those core value principles. And let me explain why here today. First, the spending is excessive. My budget is focused on targeted investments with a return, not unchecked spending. This bill adds more than $2 trillion in new commitments, much of it without offsets or oversight. That's not investing, that's borrowing for our future. Now, I know if you looked at the budget that we submitted in February, I know the biggest part of that budget was 1.76 trillion or thereabouts for education. That was the biggest increase that we submitted in the budget. And look what happened to it. Second, this budget puts new burdens on the very people we're here to serve. Our budget cuts taxes for the middle class. This bill raises them directly or indirectly on working families, independent workers, and small businesses who are already stretched thin. That's the wrong direction. Third, it grows bureaucracy, it grows government, not results. My budget streamlines government, cuts duplication, and focus resources where they make the biggest impact: in classrooms, communities, and paychecks. This bill, in contrast, creates new programs without structure, oversight, or accountability. In short, this bill does not match our vision. It does not match our budget. And let me be clear here this afternoon. I will not sign a bill that ignores these principles of the budget. We worked so hard to craft a budget rooted in common sense, physical honesty, and faith in the American worker. That's what we've always have set out to do in my administration in the last 4 years. We've always believed in the American worker. We always believed in the American citizen. And that's what our budget was drafted on. A lot of hours go into drafting a federal budget. It's not just throwing something together. Each department has to submit their budget. Matter of fact, the budget process for the next fiscal year has already began within my administration. And so just trying to get this one through. I mean, we need to really think about this. We need to really think about this. But this moment is not the end of the road. It's a chance to correct course. I'm calling upon the House of Representatives to fix what the Senate could not. Bring this bill into line with my budget. Rein in excessive spending, protect working families from unfair taxes, prioritize infrastructure, innovation, and impact, not expansion of federal power. You know, folks, this isn't about party lines. It's about getting it right because the American people deserve better than a rushed, overstuffed piece of legislation that overpromises and underdelivers. They deserve a bill that reflects the values of a government that spends wisely, governs responsibly, and keeps its promise. My message this afternoon is simple. If Congress wants this bill signed into law, it must. It must reflect the same discipline, focus, and fairness that shaped my administration's budget. I will not settle for anything less. We still have time to do this right. And if Congress is willing to act in good faith, I'm ready to meet them there. Let's write a bill that strengthens our economy, lowers cost, and respects your tax dollars. Let's pass a bill that reflects the budget of a president who believes in you and governs for you. And I just want to say this, and you've heard, and especially y'all in the media have heard me say this a lot over the last 4 years. You know, oftentimes people get elected, and it's one thing to run for office. But when you take that solemn oath of office, you have to start governing. And up here in DC, it's very easy. It's very easy to forget where you came from. You get caught up in the game. And so it's time to stop playing the game. It's time to start remembering who elected you here. It's time to start for all of us to remember who put us here. And it's time for us to start working for the American people. Thank you very much. Thank you.